Thank you for tuning in to The Truth with Trinity once again, and I am your host, Trinity. And my topic today is Black women. Stop encouraging black men to die. Okay, so I know you know some sisters, I know some, I mean, we all do, okay, that they won't date a brother unless he has a certain amount of money. And some of them won't date a brother if he's not out there in the thug life, street life, pushing a few rocks, slanging some dope, and that just seems to be their MO, their mode of operation. They just, they're attracted to that, and that's who they'll date. And then it's this lingo called lame. So, I've heard some brothers even talk to me and tell me, oh, this woman wouldn't date me because I wasn't a thug, I wasn't a dope dealer. She wouldn't date me because of these things. And you might say, well, how are sisters encouraging black men to die, right? That's kind of like strong. It's a strong accusation, right? Well, let's get into that, shall we? Okay, so anytime you encourage a man to go out there on the streets knowing that there could be a high probability that he'll end up going to jail, being caught, um, in some type of street sweep with the cops, the streets are vicious, you're encouraging, his death. And I want to point out something. As women, we can't tell a man what to do. We can't force them. So I'm not encouraging that. But we have a strong influence on men. That's women across the board. We always have. That's why we're women. Okay, so if you're telling a guy, hey, I would really like a guy that was successful in this area. Really would love a man that had a job or was creating some type of business for itself. Men have the propensity that if they love you, they'll do whatever, it takes to win your love to a certain extent, a big extent. So my point is, for the sisters that's encouraging the brothers out there on the street corner, stop doing that. Stop. Okay? Stop telling the brothers and stop discouraging them from getting 9 to 5 jobs. And and what woman doesn't want a man that has a big pile of change in his pocket? But the thing is, what's more important is how a man goes about making his money. Okay? Prosperity is different than just a big pile of money. For example, I hear a lot of sisters crying about, their child's father being in jail, okay, and they're, taking care of the children by themselves. And this is just one aspect of it. Well, I mean, you wasn't crying when he was out there on the street, you know, selling all those rocks, bringing all that money in. Okay, so don't cry now. Okay, so it's very important, for us to choose the right man selectively and carefully. And like I said, stop encouraging them to go out there on the street corners to do that. It's not helping our community. It's not helping your children. It's not helping their future. And it's most certainly not helping black men to go out there. Me personally, I would rather a guy that had a job, you know, working at a warehouse or, you know, working, some type of job that, wasn't making anywhere near the amount of money that a guy would make on the street. Why? Because it's very important to be with a guy that's safe. Okay? He doesn't have to worry about the cops, interrogating him, special surveillance on him, and, things of this nature. Being safe and being criminal record free is way more important than having somebody that's flashing all this money. Because where does it result to? If something happens to his life, where is that money? It just quickly dwindles away. And which brings me into another topic, sort of, with the Breonna Taylor. I've never really said anything about it. I really don't talk about it very much, but I want to bring it up here. Okay, so, this was a young lady, and, she was an EMT, and, but there was a double life. And this has nothing to do with being a sellout. This is just reality here. She was aiding. A lot of young sisters do it. They've got a little boyfriend or something, and he's telling you, hey, I want you to call this guy for me. Hey, I want to stash this in your house. You know, hey, look out for this guy when he comes. And I want, and they think they're doing something very important. And as women, we have a desire to be a helpmate to our men, but we must be careful what we're helping them do. Okay, so she's in the house, whether she's asleep or not, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not giving any justification to the cops, but at the same time, once again, as black people, we have to stop exploiting ourselves. So, we're blaming the media and white people for exploiting us, but we're exploiting ourselves, because you have to be careful of the company you keep, and, when you're dealing with guys that do illegal activities, you're not only putting yourself in danger, but any possible children that you may have. You're putting them in danger for what? $1. Not only that, when you call guys that have regular jobs lame, all you're doing is sending a message to this brother's head. He's thinking, well, dang, this girl is awfully pretty. I really like her. But in order for me to get with her, I got to be some type of drug dealer. So once again, that's another way we're subliminally encouraging black men to their death. Okay? Subliminally. So we're telling them that he isn't good enough because he's not out there performing criminal acts to please you? For what? A Louis Vuitton purse? For what? Something that you could have halfway worked out there yourself and got. Okay? Another thing is, too, even for the black mothers out there, because we got some black mothers out there, too. They're silently encouraging their young black men to go sell drugs. Okay, I want to bring up a movie. We all know Scarface, right? So Scarface, he made it to the top. His sister Gina, he buys her a hair salon. He offers his mother money, like, "Hey, mom, I'm going to get you a big new house." And what did his mother do? She threw that cash back at him because she didn't want any of that blood on her hands, because she knew that nothing could come of good to her son out there. Um, you know, Including himself in those type of activities. And my point is, as mothers, okay, you shouldn't be accepting those type of gifts or anything from your son who's engaging in those type of criminal activities. Why? Because you are subliminally encouraging him that he should continue his behavior. No, you can't control your grown children. You cannot control a grown up. But it would send a message to him that you are not pleased with his behavior if you wouldn't accept gifts of blood, okay? And letting him know that this is not it, okay? And, the mothers are the first one to cry on the news. And, as black women, black mothers, they're crying about their sons. But you need to cry the minute you find out that they're out there in the streets with those type of behaviors. As black women, it is our job to encourage our men to get jobs. Okay? And if Hispanic men can do it, if they can come over here and chop an onion and work their way up to the top, if other men can do it, why can't black men do it? A lot of black men throw the excuse, I don't want to work for somebody else. But once again, I've said it once and I'll say it again. That's kind of like an oxymoron. You don't want to work for anybody else, because when you get caught and go to jail, who are you working for? And then you claim that you don't make as much money. when you work for somebody, but you're making a 50 cents an hour in prison and still working for the same people that you claim that you didn't want to work for. And as black women, okay, we can't keep encouraging our men to go out there in the streets and then crying about our children not having a father because they're locked up, because they're dead. Okay, we need to encourage our men and praise them when they choose not to want to sell drugs anymore and they want to go get a job, not calling them lame. We shouldn't be so engrossed in money over the value of our men's lives. Okay, if black men's lives matter, they need to matter to us. And sometimes that's why we get the bad rap of being gold diggers or prostitutes. Because it shouldn't be about the size of his wallet. It should be about how he goes about making his money. A man that has a dream and has a vision to do better for his life, but he has to start off at the bottom, because a lot of our people, we weren't born with silver spoons in our mouth. We're not born with mommy and daddy having money to pass on to us. We have to start at the bottom. Have to go get that job. And if you want to see yourself owning some type of business, you have to start working for somebody at a time, sometime. Okay? If you can't branch off making your own business or whatever, yeah, you got to work for somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, in retrospect, I want to encourage, black women to tell our men to stay off the streets. And now cops are killing women as well, and the association you keep. Okay? So we can't just call ourselves innocent bystanders if you are engaging with men that sell drugs. And if you're messing with a guy that doesn't want to deal with you because you will not condone his behavior, even if you're one of these sisters out here, if you're a sister out here and you're thinking in your head, I really like this guy, he's really handsome, he seems like he's successful and he's out there selling drugs, and he gives you an ultimatum and calls you stuck up because you won't deal with him, he's not the man for you. Until he finds it inside of himself, the value of his own life, that he shouldn't be out there, he's not going to have any value for you either, okay? And if more black women would stand up and say, hey, we want lawyers, we want doctors, we want a guy that at least has a decent job, no matter if it's at McDonald's. Nah, my man's got to work. You know what black men would turn around and do? A lot of black men would turn around and get them a job. So it's up to us, ladies, to use our influence in the positive direction. Look, it's been beautiful talking with you today. And if you ever want to get in touch with me, my email is the truth with Trinity @gmail.com. Peace, love, and blessings.